Welcome to Contemporary Black Voices, and my name is Dr. Sharon Michael Chadwell, one of your hosts. Here at Contemporary Black Voices, we look at issues that impact the Black community, and as always, we tell our story our way. Now, sitting with me today are Caleb Alexander, Chris Dawkins, and Mario Salas. Our main topic is going to be about, of course, the government shutdown. But before I even get started with any type of narrative, Linnell, if you can go ahead and pull up that graphic, thank you. So, 1 in 5 Americans are affected by the shutdown. 21% are personally affected, 46% only know someone who is affected, and 50% don't know anyone personally affected. And this is really interesting because all of us, in my opinion, are intersecting with someone who works for the federal government, whether it's someone directly in DC. If we go to the airport, we are interacting with the federal government. Now, this shutdown is a travesty for this country. This is called a spade. In fact, to where we are a laughing stock. And they're saying that the main reason why the government has been shut down is because Trump wants to have things his way. But one of the main arguments is that the Democrats want to maintain the current credits to the Affordable Care Act, or also known as Obamacare, and the Republicans do not. I would like to intersect also that another reason for the shutdown is because of those Epstein files, to where if you shut the government down, then there's no discussion about who's in that file. So guys, I want to let you guys jump into this conversation as to your thoughts about this shutdown.
Well, don't go anywhere with at least, if you're going to get on an airplane, you better have $3,000 extra money, because you might be in a hotel for 10, 20, 30 days, who knows how long. Mm-hmm. You might get stranded, you might not get back, you might be fired because you stayed gone too long. I would not get on there. You couldn't give me a free ticket to go anywhere right now. That's how bad the situation is. And what gets me, and I think it gets a lot of people, is Trump will still make the argument that grocery prices are lower, make all kinds of absurd claims when we know that's not true. Just go to the store. For 5 minutes, you'll find out that's not true. But he's still hoping on the big lie. And of course, the big lie being that he's in control and he's making things better. Things have gotten much worse. And I agree with you, Sharon, on the Epstein situation. It's several things. It's them losing that crucial vote, so they won't swear in the lady from Arizona. It's so they lose that crucial vote, which means the Epstein files will be cut loose. And whose names are on there is always is the big issue. But aside from that, to me, it's about him being able to dictate how the country should move forward and to cause chaos. And he's hoping to cause as much chaos as possible so he can institute, in my opinion, martial law. And he's already floating that balloon out by using ICE agents, sending the troops to these different blue cities, and so forth. So he's creating the stage, the first performance of what he hopes to do. And I think that's what we're looking at.
Well, let me ask this. We're here now. We're at the government shutdown. So how long do you think this can last?
It'll last as long as somebody's name on that list is going to be exposed, probably. That some big person on that list, a donor that gave a lot of money to Trump or to some congressman that's a Republican.
So give me a time. Do you think it can last past Christmas?
I can't give you a time, but I think
just what you think, your opinion. I
think it'll last long enough for them to think they may have to work something out because things ain't looking good. I don't know, a month ago I might have said they'll make this thing last as long as they want. Now, after that 7 million people marched, you see how protest changes things. Mm-hmm. That 7 million people marched, and then we had big victories in Virginia, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania Supreme Court. over and over again. New York City, the mayor, that march created the atmosphere for that. So now I'm not sure how long that's going to last. This shutdown's going to last. They're between a rock and a hard place.
So what about the
They need to
proposal?
wake up and smell the coffee. They're in trouble.
What about the proposal that the Democrats put together yesterday?
It got shut down. The Republicans said no.
Yeah. So it's going to take some more pressure. No, they're going to lose.
But I think that the proposal that the Democrats gave yesterday is a reasonable one. Okay, they're saying all we want you to do is to extend the same levels of the Affordable Care Act for one more year. Okay, and we'll open up the government. And the Republicans saying that's a non-starter.
It comes down to the Democrats. I mean, they've convoluted the issue, but it does come down to the Democrats who are trying to keep health care and the Republicans who are trying to kill it. And so they want the Democrats to choose. You can either choose food or health care. And that's it in a nutshell.
And you know what else, Chris? And
That's
Caleb?
a good point.
You know what else, Chris and Caleb? When I looked at those elections, New Jersey, Virginia, New York, I looked at those elections. They showed the stats of who underperformed and overperformed based on the previous candidate. And where you saw the Republican underperforming, that's several indications. But one important indication is some of those Republicans voted against.
That's right.
That's what that underperforming means.
Yeah.
Republicans are voting Democrats.
Yes.
And so they're losing.
Because they don't like it.
No, they're getting slapped with those high egg prices and everything else.
Yeah.
So we're seeing, in a roundabout way, underperforming by the Republican candidate, in that case, Cuomo, who was he was a Republican candidate, although he called himself something else. But those underperformance numbers give you an indication that Republicans are changing over. Yeah. They're tired of Trump's mess too.
I think something that affected this tremendously hasn't been talked about a lot, but when he demolished the part of the White House.
The White House?
Okay. I think that really, at least for me, it was like, how dare you? How could you do something like that?
I think you got taking all of these things together, right? So the demolishing of the White House, the shedding of millions of jobs, and you don't know how it's hard to get an accurate number because he doesn't want to release the numbers. He keeps firing people who put out bad numbers. So you have the shedding of millions of jobs. You have the shutdown, right? You have programs that people thought were safe. They were okay as long as they thought that they were going to affect other. But when they realized, no, this guy is the special needs programs. This affected our kids too.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so you have, it's a combination of things. And I think that they look on TV and they see these ICE raids. Yesterday on TV, there was a guy who they were trying to take his baby away. He had a stroke in the car. You had they going into a daycare and yanking a teacher out in front of little kids out of the daycare. And so it kind of reminds you of the 60s a little bit, where people were looking at TV and said, I didn't sign up for this. You know what I mean? And I think that we're at kind of a same place now where people are looking at these images on social media, looking at these images on TV, seeing people get thrown to the ground, elderly folks, women, and are thinking, you know what? I didn't sign up for this. And so again, you see, it's inhumane, right? And you see the graft, right? This guy's made over $2 billion in 10 months. Right, you see the graph. It's a combination of things. I think where Republicans are, to Mario's point, are saying, "I didn't sign up for this."
Yeah, a 1-year-old kid in the back of detained in the back of an ICE patrol car.
Yeah.
What kind of animalism is that?
Yeah.
And so with that thought, what we're going to do is take a few minutes and we're going to come back to that question.